Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about how to build a life that has no regrets so that when you get to the end of your life, you are excited about what you created versus dying with regret. Let's go ahead and dive in. I use death as a way to motivate me to get the most out of my life, to enjoy it more, to do more, to achieve more, to have more fun, to have more love, all of that. And so it's really important, I think, to look at what people are doing when they're at the end of their life and think like, hey, what did they do well? What did they think was good? What did they think was bad? And how can I learn from that? Because just as Tony Robbins always says, success leaves clues, I think that failure also leaves clues. I think that regret leaves clues as well. And so there was a book that was written years ago called The 5 Regrets of the Dying. And I've brought this book up many times in this podcast, but over an 8-year period, there was a lady who worked in hospice care. And hospice is basically when someone's terminally ill, they're going to die. They know that they're going to die. And over 8 years, this nurse worked with people and she got really close relationships with some of them. And as they were towards the end of their life, they started sharing some secrets with her and they started sharing happiness and love stories and amazing things, but they also shared a lot of regrets. And so she wrote a book on the 5 regrets that she heard the most. And I think it's really important for us to know, because if success leaves clues, then regret and failure also leaves clues. So why don't we listen to these people who went through their entire life and were at their deathbeds and went, I wish I would have done something different, so that we can make sure that we don't do the same things that they did. And so the first one and the most common one was that I wish I lived a life that was true to myself and not the life that others expected of me. This was the most common one, is that I wished I lived a life that was true to myself and not the life that other people expected of me. Isn't that crazy? Most people live lives that allows them just to fit in. They don't follow their passions because they're too afraid of what other people might think or say. When I ask people what their biggest fears are, one of the biggest fears that almost always comes up is the fear of rejection. And so a lot of times what people will do is they will do what society or what their parents or what other people think that they should be doing and not actually follow their passions. They want to be an artist or they want to be a musician, but their mom thinks that they should be an accountant because you can't make any money as an artist. So then they become an accountant and their dreams slowly die. And so the main regret is not having lived a life that was true to themselves. Isn't it crazy that we allow what other people think of us to come in the way of what we truly want? And it's like we just kind of fit in a lot of times. And, it's like that Jim Carrey quote that says, your need for acceptance will make you invisible in this world. And so how can you look at this and be like, what is it that I want? Not what my mom wants, not what my father wants, not what society wants, not what my spouse wants. Like, what do I want to do with my life? And the word vulnerability actually means when you look at the root word in Greek, actually means the ability to be wounded. And so we have to understand that, we need to open ourselves up. We don't have to open ourselves up to everybody and be vulnerable to everybody, but are there some people who you trust, who have your best intentions in life, that really want the best for you, that you can show your true self to, that you can fully express and not hold it all in? And so that was number 3, is that I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. Number 4 is that I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. And so the author had all of these people that were at the end of their lives. And as they were at the end of their lives, they started thinking about how many people that they knew that they haven't seen in so long that weren't showing up to say goodbye to them. And they thought, man, I wish I would have stayed in touch with my friends. And a lot of them said that they worked so hard that they actually lost touch with the friends who mattered the most. And they were lonely at the end of their lives because they let those friendships slip away and they gave up the friendships to work. They got busy with work, they got busy with family, raising children, and they regretted not keeping in touch with some of their friends and letting everyday life come ahead of some of those friendships. So it's not like you don't have to have a list of 30 people that you need to stay in touch with, but do you have like a core group of people who actually you want to stay in touch with that maybe you've lost touch with? Like I know that a lot of you listening right now, you're going, damn, there's this one person. I haven't talked, we've sent some text messages, we've sent some funny memes to each other over the past couple of years, but we haven't really had face-to-face time. And I'd really like to rebuild that relationship. Can you reach out to them today? And so when we look at this, what can we learn from it? Let's stay in touch with the people who matter the most. When you get all of the money in the world, You won't be able to buy those people back if those people are out of your lives. If they die, you won't be able to pull them back with all of the money, all of the billions of dollars you can make. And so let's not let everyday life and working and family get so busy that it gets in the way of other relationships, right? We can allow ourselves to be happy and grateful at any moment and realize that what we currently have is enough. And we can learn to be grateful for all those things. We can learn to love ourselves through self-talk and learn to let go of the past and forgive ourselves for things that have happened and forgive other people so that we can let go of that anger that's still inside of us. Because we can't change anything that's from the past, but we can learn from it and we can decide to be grateful and be happy where we currently are. And there's so many people that get to the end of their lives and wish that they would have let themselves be happier. That's the actual phrase in the book, is that I wish I had let myself be happier. Not I wish I was happier. I wish I had let myself have been happier. And I've always heard Ram Dass say it, but like he always says, death is like taking off a tight shoe. Where it's just like we're so just, white knuckling our way through life sometimes. When sometimes we just need to take a deep breath, just kind of chill a little bit. And so what can we learn from this? Make a list of things that make you happy. I've said this many times in the podcast. I had a friend that was in really deep depression. And years after I met him, he was already out of the depression and he had built a successful business and he's, just got done writing a book, all these cool things. And he had said a phrase that I don't think I'll ever forget. And he says, I will not let my happiness or my depression be left up to chance. And so what he did is he made this thing called a happy list and all these things that make him happy, the biggest things, the smallest things. And he would look at his happy list every single morning and he would look at his schedule and he would say, how can I schedule in some of these things to make me happy? And then he just became happier as he started doing it. So it's a choice. So what can we do to start bringing more things that make us happy? And so these are the 5 things that people die with regrets. If we really want to be smart, why don't we try to avoid these things? Why don't we try to make our life be better by knowing, this is what people have died with and have regrets. So the first one is I wish I lived a life that was true to myself and not the life that other people expected of me. Number 2 is that I wish I hadn't worked so hard. Number 3 is that I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. Number 4 is that I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. And number 5 is that I wish I had let myself be happier. So that's what I got for you for today's episode. If you love this episode, please do me a favor right now. Take out your phone, share this on your Instagram stories, tag me in at Rob Dial Jr., ROBDIALJR. The only way that this podcast grows, the only way that we impact more people's lives is from you guys actually sharing it from grassroots. So if you'd share it on your Instagram anytime that you hear an episode that you like, it allows more people to be able to find this podcast. And so I would greatly, greatly appreciate if you do that. So with that, I'm going to leave you the same way I leave you every single episode. Make it your mission, make someone else's day better. I appreciate you, and I hope that you have an amazing day.